Let's bring in Trump National Diversity Council member, Bruce LeVell. Good to see you, Bruce. You were at the State of the Union, so you were there last night. There was no applause, nothing, zero for what the president was saying about low unemployment. Yeah. Nothing from the Black Caucus. Your reaction?
Yeah, thanks, Liz. Thanks for having me. You know, I was there just full of just happiness. The president's speech was just phenomenal. You know, actually, when I met him in Atlanta here at the Alabama-Georgia game, the first thing when we talked about on the way to the game in the motorcade was he was very ecstatic about the low unemployment for the African-American people, and it was just phenomenal. So this is something that he said, what do you have to lose, earlier in the campaign, that wanted to really, really be aggressive on an issue like this. So I was ecstatic. You know, when that yell, when you heard when he said, you know, the lowest ever, you know, I think that might have been me, Liz, because I was so excited. I was right there in the very front of him. I thought I was going to leap out of that gallery because, you know, it truly was. But I said, you know what? I am not going to let the Congressional Black Caucus rain on my parade. We are going to progress with this president. We're going to get it's even going to get better. And the good thing about this is that they won't get reelected because their constituents are going to wake up and say, "Hey, wait a minute.
Do you think they should lose their jobs?
Are we better off now than we were then?" So I'm very optimistic that this is a blessing in disguise. So this is going to hurt them.
Oh, wait, hang on a second. I want to understand this. You think they should lose their jobs?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. But, Liz, we don't vote our Congress people to go up to D.C. and pick fights and protest the State of the Union. The State of the Union is for the people, by the people. Yeah. And the president made it clear. And for the president to just come out and say God first and to bring back, you know, this great nation of who we are as a people, that's invigorating. And how can you not stand for that? How can you not stand for our troops?
I hear what you're saying, Bruce. I mean, I think Americans, they don't want race warfare or class warfare, none of that. There's this D.C. media beltway echo chamber. We know what the president has said. We get it. We understand his pretty scathing comments in the past, and we're working through that. He's trying to, I think, work beyond that. But look at Illinois Democrat Louis Gutierrez. Yep. He left the chamber during a USA cheer. You know, when you talk to the president, you're with him. You've spoken with him. What is his personal reaction to the Congressional Black Caucus and seeing Louis Gutierrez leave? What has he told you?
Well, I can tell you what I do know. We were with him the night before in a very private little get-together at the White House with some, we call us the core 2015 Trumplicans, the diehard folks that been there in the beginning. And we went over some of the things that he talked about, what he was going to talk about at the State of the Union. And one of those issues were the lower unemployment rate.
Yeah, but what does he say about the Congressional Black Caucus and their reaction? What does he say?
Well, you know, I think it's one of those things where it's a situation where this particular institution has passed its time and they need a reformation. If I had to think with the president, they need a reformation. It's like, you know what, it's time to move on and stop being beholden to some of their special interests that keep them in this group and say, how dare you cheer for the Republicans? How dare you cheer for prosperity or anything different outside of your box? You stay over there in this plantation. Don't you dare come off this plantation. I know that's harsh, Liz, but that's essentially what they're trying to put on their people and their constituents. But guess what? It's not going to happen anymore. Because in the next midterms, you're not going to see a lot of those folks. They're going to be dropping out. Just like we had some Republicans that just said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I don't think I'm being the right team player. I'm not going to run again. In their case, they won't get reelected.
Bruce, hey, it's good to see you. You always bring great stuff and insights. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.